guy said this morning. He said, I love pink. Pink is my favorite color.
Thank you.
Issa Fakisi will join us. He's a chartered insurer. He'll join us in a bit, but we're going to start our conversation with Jennifer. How's your weekend?
It was a bit stressful.
Work?
Not really work. I had other side thing I had wanted to do. So within the weekend, I was just trying to finish up with everything.
And when you were doing that, were you online? Did you check out what was happening in the news and all that?
Yeah, apparently, I tried doing one of these two things. I had a fair view on one or two things. Yeah.
Well, the first one we want to discuss is not really new because I'm not sure if you've heard about current Minister of Agric comment he passed during the Easter festivities in Abetifi, Kwewu, and how not just the opposition party but members of the public have taken it and said that these are likely to be treasonable comments. What's your thought on that?
So, I know the comments have really caught a lot of attention, and I had wanted to listen to the video. What at all did Brian say is about, I mean, what did he say? So I went back to watch the video. And to me, what caught my attention, I think is different from what people are trying to say. And saying that the NPP will try their possible means not to give power to, I mean, the NDC in quotes. I was like, okay, so it seems we are trying to read different meaning to what he said. Okay, so what the question that I tried to ask myself was, I either want to tell Ghanaians who to give power to, because on the D-Day, it depends on who Ghanaian thinks they would want to bring to power. And it is not an individual or a member of parliament that would decide either we want party A or we want party B. You understand? So trying to say that the NPP will not give power to the NDC as an individual or as a member of parliament, you can't decide for Ghanaians. You get it? But then I'm trying to listen to what people are saying, and I asked, it seems they are trying to raise different meaning to what he said.
You think that what he said is what he said? There's no other meaning to it. I felt the same way, and I think when we were having the show last week, I drew my attention that he had come from somewhere. So let's look at where he had come from. And
as someone that do understand security, it's, you know, we should all understand this, that as someone that have influence, sometimes whatever you say, your people that do trust you are able to, take actions in the words that you say. So people with influence should always pay attention, critical attention to whatever that they say. But then sitting back very well to understand that we will not give, the power to the NDC. To
Jennifer,
me,
let me help you. So that perhaps we can appreciate it well. So if I recall the video again, he started by talking about how, the Russian-Ukraine war has affected us, COVID-19 has affected us, and that, for some reason, our economy is getting back into shape. It is getting back into shape, and even assured us that by July, the economy is going to turn around drastically. Yes, and with the IMF bailouts, we're going to receive it shortly, and everything is going to be okay. So whatever it is that the opposition are trying to put in the minds of people, they should know that this NPP government is going to stay in power, and that they will not stand on any platform they will ensure that they will not stand on any platform to hand over power to the NDC, right? So can we consider that, he built his point from somewhere? Perhaps if we take that statement, it sounds some way. But from the things he said, do you think that maybe, just maybe, the way he said people are trying to, maybe he doesn't mean it the way we think he means it?
Oh, so as you did mention earlier, I was like, okay, so he spoke about COVID, and later now how he thinks the economy is doing well. He was like, dollar was 17 and now it's 10. I was like, from where? In Ghana here, dollar was 17 cedis, and we were not aware. I think dollar was able to shoot up to was my concern. that there's a bit of light over there. You are not trying to speak the truth to the people, you can say, but then even trying to raise the issue from that perspective. I didn't have any issues with what he said. But then after listening back and trying to analyze things critically, trying to listen to what the NDC was trying to say, trying to listen to what they understand that it's like probably they are used to what they are trying to say.
But
to play kind of, I'm trying to be a good communicator because election is approaching and everyone would want to win the conscience of the people. So NDC would want to play safe and people would want to play safe. Okay, so Brian had said something that the NDC think it's not good and they are trying to, I mean, either have different meaning to what he says, okay? And the NPP think Muhammad has said something that I mean isn't right. Okay, so here, if everyone is trying to concentrate or pay attention to Brian, which would have a different image to the political party, or that is the NPP, then why don't we drag in Mohammed's issue? To me, I would say I had issues with the I had issues with the do or die affairs rather.
Why?
Yes. So why is it?
You have an issue with that rather than Brian's?
Yes. So you saying you will not give power to the NDC? What? I mean, to what audacity? To what power do you have? Which means which means you are trying to say that even if Ghanaians vote, you have your way to be in power, even though you didn't win. Is that so? No. So then, if the Muhammad says that do or die, what is he trying to mean?
He says that the 2024 elections for the NDCs will be a do or die affair.
So here, do or die. What goes into that? What goes into that?
What does he mean?
So if they don't win, then what else?
I don't know if we can put meaning to it, because again, I said that do or die is a figure of speech. I can say that, you know what, listen, working at MS24 is going to be a do or die affair. It's either I get a job here or that's it. There's nothing more. There's nothing else for me.
I know Muhammad came in later to explain himself that people are trying to raise different meaning on what he said. That's what I'm saying. But the way things are going, you could clearly know, or you could clearly see that both the NDC and the MPP are trying to play smart, because it's all about communication. And who is able to communicate well as a man that the people would probably follow. Okay? Because whatever they are trying to do is, as I mentioned earlier, we are approaching to our elections, and everyone is trying to play smart here. You communicate well, people would fall for you. So the least mistake you do, then probably it will go against you.
Do you think both communications were tasteful?
I think it's not right. It's not right. And I would want to bring in that of Asedun Ketia, saying that even if it takes taking the lives of people. And I asked someone, so do you think, would he as an individual or per his position want his child to do anything that would take his life?
I'm trying to remember his exact words. Do you remember?
Well, so I don't remember his exact words, but what is in contention is the fact that both parties just opposing two particular comments, that of the former president and then that of Brian. Now I've got three issues here for us to. I think that as human beings, we all understand that the human part of you can get the best of you in moments of emotions and heightens. And this is why when a person gets emotional, they take that act, put it on the table, and we have guidelines to want to interpret what had happened at the time that you were emotional or you were doing the act. Now, I think that not a lot of people are saying that what Brian said is right or what Muhammad said is right. Okay. What they're trying to do is look at the weight of what was said. Now, it's been likened to treason. And this has been my challenge from the beginning, because treason is like the highest form of crime that you can commit in this country. And for us to arrive at that, I like to think that the frame is, and I didn't want to be the one doing this. I was waiting for Isefa to come and then put the interpretation to this one, that because we are human beings and we appreciate that we can be very chaotic, whenever things happen, there can be chaos happening in our society. We all have come to design, okay, what can be crime. And we have said that for us to say somebody is committed something that is treason, we would have to really subject what the person has done to certain formalities. Mm-hmm. So if we get emotional and say that, okay, well, what Brian said is treasonable, we then will go away from the real, because I'm not a panelist here. I leave the panelists to come in.
I think
come in. But my 3 issues is that as a society, we're able to determine what is wrong or right. So it starts as rumor, then it comes into the media and all of that. At the time that ex-president said this, it was a big deal, but it wasn't much of a big deal now. Mm-hmm. Now the ruling party sat down, waited it out. So that's if I will catch his breath. Mm-hmm. Let me just do this commentary. The ruling party sat down, waited it out for Brian to come and say this, and then you want to just oppose it. If somebody wants to take it on, they'll say that, okay, so you agree that is treasonable, mm-hmm. but you want to just oppose it to a previous one that has said, which if this country somebody commits treason, you must subject them to, investigations and all of that. Are you agreeing that is treasonable? Yes or no? If it is treasonable, how did we arrive at a comment such as that being treasonable? Treason is not.
I was hoping the lawyers will help us understand what
treason will tell you what treason is and how you arrive at what something is treason or for something to be crime. Because I was okay when people were calling the Christian councils to call him to order. Because again, comments are what can, really aggravate to something. So you don't want it to get there. So that, you retract, oh, this is not what I meant and all of that. Tempest will come down. But if people are still pushing it to be treason, then we are forced to subject the comments to what really treason is. So, Isefa, you're welcome and good morning.
Thank you, good morning, and thanks for having me this morning.
You okay?
Good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Chaotic morning, yeah?
The rain's a little bit of traffic, but nonetheless, we are here.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank God you're safe.
Okay.
Nice meeting you.
Are you able to identify these 2 men on your screen and behind you?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So the former president,
absolutely.
and one is my kinsman. So,
okay. Yeah. So, yeah. By now, you know that, people have, this thing that has happened has come under a lot of scrutiny. It's now that we want to take a bite onto, because I think it has arrived at this very peak stage, and we can talk about it. She was trying to let us understand how she feels about both, but the matter is quite clear. Both comments, they say, are treasonable.
Are they?
What is really treason, and are they?
Well, thank you. And probably I want to start to discuss the issues or the comments that were discussed. And as Brian is my kinsman, sometimes I find it a bit...
How do you mean by he's a kinsman?
So we all come from the same village, so...
Although you should have all the reason to backlash him if it is treason.
Well, so, Brian is one of the young cool men doing very well, and he inspires a lot of young people, myself inclusive, and we are always urging him on to do something that will promote our town and also the state. So, that said, we still have a country to build and a country to protect. And I feel the comments that he made, benefit of hindsight, I believe that he has an opportunity probably issue, retract and apologize, because we don't expect such from him. And like I'm saying, he's very, someone we revere so much, and he inspires a lot of young people. And if he tries to go along this tangent, then probably you'll be inciting a section or a faction of the youth that believe so much in you. And I would like to say that it wasn't a fair comment to make, in as much as some people try to justify to say that he was taken over by the moment. But like I'm saying, granted that, if you are giving benefits of hindsight, and I've not seen any statement from him retracting and apologizing.
There is a release from the NPP, though. They're saying that it was in response to something that the former president said.
Exactly.
Is that justifiable, that at least he was responding to the comments he made, that if you're going to do, it's going to be do or die for you, we also not hand over power to you? Is that fair? Is that...
Well, I think that the statement from the New Patriotic Party would have served them better not to have even issued a statement at all. because you realize that the statement that the former president made, in as much as we all didn't agree, we all, I mean, it all came up for us to discuss. And this statement was made way back in 2021. So are you telling me as a proactive party who is in government, someone makes a statement in 2021, you wait to 2023 to respond to? I mean, absolutely not. So it's just an afterthought, try to do the equalization that political parties always do. But for us as people, we should not be told to go along the line of these political parties. Anyways, the political parties will do it anyways. Tomorrow another will come and the tables will turn. Those in the NDC will try to defend themselves. Those in NPP will go chasing them. So, I mean, yes, in as much as those doing politics can do, they shouldn't do anything to prejudice the security of the state. To discuss the charges to which they are charging, they are purporting to level against Brian in terms of treason. Treason felony is one of the highest crimes that we have in the country. And if you are convicted of same, the punishment is for you to be, I mean, your life will be taken away from you. So it's not an easy crime, or it's a high crime that we should discuss. And it does not take for someone to just make certain comments to just say that you are convicting the person of a treason. Treason essentially is that you are doing anything to prejudice the security of the state. And it's not just by words. You've taken certain actions. There are evidence to back that. To say that I want to overthrow the government, I'm discussing with the high military, I've procured certain weapons, I've brought in mercenaries and all those stuff. It's based on that you can say that one is being convicted or trying to be charged the person for treason. And you realize that this can even be tied in with this guy's case, Oliver. And the reason why almost 3 or 4 is still struggling to prosecute the case is that you don't just rely on just statement alone for this level of crime, whereby someone committing a crime, we need the act that the person has done and the intention behind what really. So I can just say something, but if really I didn't have the intention, I've not done anything to activate such a crime, then you don't charge me. They know very well that, I mean, this crime that they are trying to level against him will fail, but well, these are the political parties at it again. And you see that the NPP also done a counter accusation against the former president, also treason. And
this is a man who manned the, what's the name? Well, he was the former
deputy national security coordinator.
So, for such comments, do you think the NDC is just being political by saying that, the man should be arrested? Because if he handled a position like that, then he's in charge or he's aware of certain security stuff in the country, don't you think?
Well, you see, the way our state has been structured, we don't have that thing whereby one person who is the former. Then equally, someone can say the former president, he was the commander-in-chief of the whole. So, it's one of the things that the way our governance system or our state has been structured, and that's why it's unlikely under the Fourth Republic for us to have a coup d'etat. Because, we don't reside power in one person who becomes the master of all. So even though he's the former deputy national security coordinator, it's fine, he has certain intel. However, I don't think that this comment that he made solely can land him in being culpable or liable for the crime that's been leveled against him.
Both of them?
Precisely.
I just think that it's okay, as Sefa has said, prudent for your person, for who you are, for the role you play in society. You come out to say that, I mean, surely you know that there's no intention. I mean, when the people vote, what can you really do about it? This is why I'm saying that as a discerning society, let's go back from where he started the comments from. It's not okay that you're reckless with comments because your emotions overtook you. But it is important to allow human beings to be human beings and go back from where they're coming from. Where did they come from? By giving you breakdown, history, and all of that. Now, the former president is also saying that, listen, this is what we've been telling you. We could have done a good job. So this time around, for us to be able to do a good job, we will go at all length in doing a good job. And in doing a good job, it will be a do or die to get power to come and rule. So if we want to reduce our loss in this country to very trivial comments, if you don't take time, I mean, we'll start really reducing the substance of it. I mean, that's my take. But it is just prudent for the two of them to have self-awareness, not to be negligent and that much reckless.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I go back to that statement, a little fool is not fit for a king.
Yeah.
I don't think the two of them shouldn't have, especially Brian at a time like this for me, you know, 3 years ago we can excuse it that, okay, it's past, sort of. But now, looking at the security situation around us, even in, you know, in the West African region, it's not something that should be said. But anyways, we'll move past that. I mean, you're a chartered insurer, so you can help us fully appreciate this whole finance ministers. Look, I like figures. I can only mention them, but I don't understand them. So I'm seeing 1.8. So could you please explain to us what's happening there?
The debt restructuring.
A new program.
It's, I know, we sat here to discuss the other time, and I don't know why it seems like, I don't know whether the government is not being transparent with the people. And that's what infuriates people the more. That the first program, you didn't consult people, you didn't sit at the round table. That got people agitated. The point is, there's a genuine problem. There's a genuine challenge that you have. Call all stakeholders. Let's have that discussion. Let's agree on something. Probably the advice that will come out from that stakeholder meeting might be something that will help move this situation a notch higher. But rather, you sit in your comfort of your ministry, you come up with a directive, everybody's bond will be and come up with your own. And also going back, the Attorney General advised you on what you have to do or what you ought to have done, which you didn't do. Now there's a second phase which seems almost same, you understand, which seems almost same. And essentially, you are trying to rope in the pensioners. The first program, they agitated. They gave you reasons why they do not want to be part of, reasons why they cannot be part of the program. And you know that as pensioners, you don't get your full salary. It's just a contribution that you've made, a contribution that you made, and a percentage is being given to you. And these people have realized that over the period, what they get from Senate in terms of their pension payment is not much. So now if they are going on pension, they have any lump sum, who will drop it with the pension or fund manager. And equally, these fund managers will also give some of the money as loan, long-term loan, which is the bond to government. And then there will be a rate, which is the coupon. Then upon maturity, either they roll up or they withdraw their investment plus their coupon. And now we are at a point where our government is saying that, hold on, even your investment, I'm not sure upon maturity I can pay you.
Right.
2,
your coupon, that's your interest rate that you have, I'm dropping it to 5%. People are like, no, we don't want to be part. Engage us, let's sit down, let's back and forth. At a point we try to exempt individual bondholders and pension funds. And now we are back at square two, thinking that the initial debt restructuring, because people accepted the offer that the ministry made, that to give some cushion to the government, and then we will be gradually be stabilizing. But now we are back to a second point whereby government says that, shush, I think I made an error exempting individual bondholders and even pension funds. So we are now roping them in. All because the ministry is making us understand that some of the measures that they have to put in place before we get that IMF relief. But I think the government can find ways or other means to generate revenue than to include the individual bondholder, and particularly the pensioners. I mean, it's absolutely to get people, pensioners, who are picketing at your ministry. Even that alone should tell you that the need, the reason why you cannot put them in that bracket. And over the period, we had e-levy being passed. They say we are suspending tolls, and now tolls are coming back. Now we've increased import duties. Last midterm budget increments. So really, we don't get it. If there's a real challenge somewhere, I think the government is not making us aware of those figures for people to sit back and really appreciate it. Because now our condition is becoming worse by the day.
I've got a few questions. One, first would be that, are they going to withhold all of it, or it's a percentage of the coupons and all the money that you have invested? Is it all of it they want to take, or there's a percentage of it? That's one. Then number two, is it that government is not being transparent, or we're supposed to look a little deeper before you can start opening up the tax revenue, the pool? The executive really can push, but it still has to go to Parliament. And we all see it when it goes to Parliament. It's not a walk in the park for them. It takes a longer period. And yet the IMF negotiations is with timelines. So you go to the staff level, you go to the board level, which is where I think we are now. And people fear that with what happened to Zambia, they negotiated from staff level, got to the board level, but they were never able to get to the point where it'll be approved. Now the finance minister goes to renegotiate the Paris Club. I mean, all those that we owe. Don't forget that we also have commitments
that we have to settle.
So, and we don't have money sitting. I think the reason why the government is eyeing the pensioners and all these bondholders because that money is seated already.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's the money that is there, but for the other revenues, we're yet to pass the law, even for the 3 tax revenues that are the bills. It's yet to be
effective.
It's yet to be, because the president has assent to it, this and that. And so by the time they are collecting money, do you have timelines? As for the problem and why we're here, we don't want to revisit it, but we're where we are now. So you get more money, you have to go and renegotiate the person you're owing with already, pay some, you are left with small. If you add it, it is not joining, but IMF says this is the only point you can get to before I can help you. So I really am wondering, is it that they are not being transparent, or genuinely our procedure and our processes are not, helping?
I think we don't have the information. I mean, bottom line, because somebody can really help you when you let the person actually know
the situation is.
Because now that's what the individual bondholders are asking. What's the real challenge? What do you need? And there's we are still continuing with how do you call it, the cathedral project. You cannot tell me as a bondholder to give my money. It's just absolutely not comprehensible.
Some commitments were needless.
Exactly. Okay. So the government itself is not demonstrating to us that, yes, we need money, I'm cutting expenditure. And that's what they keep saying. Government, look at your own expenditure. What commitments are you giving to us yourself? Okay, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting that, I'm cutting. As we said, we have a presidential staffer for NAPCO. NAPCO is non-existent. The person receives pay.
Who?
Come again?
Whose name is that?
NAPCO.
I've forgotten the person's. Maybe I can check up.
But you want to get the person's name?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a name he mentioned. It's something like Napo.
NAPCO.
Oh, right.
Yes. So, I mean, there are several ways. And just, I think before the Christmas, October, November, the Public Accounts Committee reviewing the auditors, you sit back and you say that this country, we don't need money. Because so much wastage. And that's the point that people get so mad at government and say that, hey, I have worked over the period. It wasn't like I wasn't paying tax, whether the direct or indirect tax. Before I receive my pay slip, the direct tax is gone. The indirect, my fuel, my light, any commodity that I purchase, you've taxed me for almost my prime time, which is like 40 or 30 years working and paying my dues to the country. I save my little money, and you say, now, you know what, let me take that your little money. And now people are not trusting government because there's no guarantee that my little money you are taking, tomorrow you give me my money. Because consistently, the pledges or the promise government has given us has turned out not to have worked. So now the point is, how do I trust you?
Let me ask Jennifer. So there was a caller that called this morning and said that Nasa mind yen a womb. It is a summer buying in a yen chinchia because a year in an ebay my says so I may not quote exactly his words, but so how can our pensioners help? Because if indeed this IMF bailout is what's going to help the economy, surely they're going to be buying a tin of milk at the price that I, a young employer, would be buying anyway. So how can everybody be a part of it?
Okay, so as Sefa mentioned earlier, there's no transparency here. The people should understand the situation very well. If they are able to help, fine. But then it shouldn't be like a force. You get it. So if we think we can help based on your transparency and based on the communication that has gone on between the government and the people, if they think they can help, then they would come in and help. But then if you think they have the lump of money, so you would want to go for it. Meanwhile, someone also have plans for their money. Then automatically you're not trying to be fair with the people.
How about you? Because the 3 bills that have been passed into law now, they are not asking you or they are not forcing, but you pay it now.
For now, you could see that everyone is not happy. But then the government have no choice.
Right. And so in that same light of no choice, they are saying then pension part of
but that one is within the remit of government to come up with taxes. So it's within the...
Isn't there...
But government doesn't have the right over my money, my safety money.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So we should consider, in quotes, pensioners, people that have suffered. And they need their money. Probably there's a project someone would want to undertake. And you would want to ask, probably someone can't make it in the next 3 years, in the next 4 years, and you'd want to take this money.
So, for those people that are dead, where are their monies?
It's with the government.
That one too is with government.
Unless probably you have some beneficiary in there, or probably in your will, you will that portion of your investment.
Because between last year and this year, a lot of 65, 50,
but normally some of these things a bet get stuck with the investor. Yeah.
I thought, once you pass, if you have a beneficiary, I mean, not necessarily, they have to look for somebody.
No, you have to show up.
So it's just like the bank. The bank will not be chasing you.
Of course not.
Why would I chase you to check whether you are dead or not? Do you know how many customers the bank have? Nobody will chase you whether you are dead.
That's why me don't take your money to the bank or
No, so okay, let's get this education here.
Okay.
So let's say my father
Don't worry, let me take you through the process.
Educated. He's not so educated, so he doesn't know that, let me put my son or my daughter's name here so that when I'm no more. So let's say he puts my name or my sister's name or anybody's name there. Great. When he passes and I'm not aware of this.
You are not aware your father has passed?
No, I'm aware my father. So but I'm not aware that he has maybe an
investment somewhere.
An investment somewhere. Yeah. The investors, those people will not come and look for the people under.
So the question is, are they aware? So they are not aware your father is dead.
But you when somebody's money is with you and for a long time.
But
the person is keeping it for whatever reason.
Right.
And even now, Bank of Ghana says that if the bank has noticed that your account is dormant, they even need the money. So please send us the money. Because if you put your money in the bank, it's a loan.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is a loan. So now, dormant account. So they will not think that it's dormant because you're dead. They'll think it's just you.
You loaning it to them.
Yeah, you loaning it.
Until you're ready to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why it's good for you to put in there your and tell your beneficiary you have an investment.
All you people that have been
otherwise, you'll be dead and your investment will be locked up somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, have you had any challenge with your SIM card? I mean, today, no, as of 6th April, they started disconnecting SIM cards that have now been registered. So have you had any challenge yourself, Jennifer?
Oh, apparently, no, for now I don't have any challenges because to me, initially I didn't want to be part. I didn't want to register at all because Ghana there, nothing works.
Oh.
So let me just, because this thing would not work. But then until it got to a point that the way things are going there, if I don't do so quickly, then I went to the office to register my SIM. So for me, I don't have any issue. I have not encountered that yet.
Okay.
What does the MCA need the numbers for? The numbers that the telcos have disconnected. What do they need the numbers for? For their data?
I like to think so.
Well,
Data collection company, so it's to be able to do an overhaul of real numbers.
Would we say that this exercise has been successful?
It's not. It's not because a lot of people still have issues with their Ghana card, and we have genuine issues like that. In as much as some people don't want to do it because of their reasons and whatever they are trying to do, but then some people have genuine issues regarding their Ghana card, and that is not permitting them to do it. So if you don't, I mean, they should have good ways of doing things because, I mean, these telcos, they are into business. So,
please go on.
So they're into business. So everyone is trying to, in as much as they want to go with the laws or the rules per the NCA, everyone is trying to be careful as well. So even if you have 5,000 people and 3,000 are out of the system, then automatically as a business, we are losing. So I think NCA is trying to play smart a bit.
My final question on this would be that the real challenge that people are seeing is that if they go to the telcos, they notice that the numbers have already been connected to registered Ghana numbers, which suggests that the number is not for you.
Yeah.
We already had some little type of registration before, remember? Numbers will be attached to your name, so you know that this person, but this time around, they're trying to do it well, synchronize all of it in one system, the Ghana card. So if I'm a person and I went to MTN and I now have my Ghana card, I had genuine consent has been corrected, I have my Ghana card, for me to be able to register my SIM card, if I go and it is registered to another SIM card, what can I do? What are the remedies available for me?
For me, if you go and someone's, your SIM has been registered to another person, that will probably fraud being perpetrated by someone.
So who should I take on, the telco or the NIA?
So you can do both, or you can do the telco. You understand? Because your SIM, you've purchased it, is also a property to you now, just that they render services on your property, which is your SIM card. So if I go and someone has registered my SIM onto another person's, and so we have to find out who was able to register. And you, within as an individual, cannot do that. It's only the telco or the NIA that can trace such a person.
But they said, government says that go and register your SIM card, okay? And for some reason, whatever the NIA was going through and you couldn't use your Ghana card to register your SIM, for that reason, you were disconnected.
Yeah.
So it is no longer your SIM, is it?
Okay, so there are two issues here. So there are people who within the allowed period went and they realized that it has
been connected to another person.
Okay. So those who went outside and we told you that your numbers have been blocked, and I think that's the essence of why the NIA is also conducting some of these exercises, so that you realize that number XYZ or has not been connected or has been disconnected, so that if you can reissue to another person, I mean, that's fine, so that we have control over the process a bit. But those that genuinely within the period, I mean, I go and someone else has registered my, and they are, I think there were an issue on social media I read whereby they think those guys who are supposed to do the registration were using that to sell registered SIM cards to people.
Right.
And I think that the NIA should take up this, so that just by punching some short code, I can just check my Ghana card if it's linked to any other contact.
Right.
And that's where I think that was one of the rationale of digitization, so that those who perpetrate some of this Momo fraud, you can easily trace them, or persons that make call, you can easily. But then if I'm here in Accra and someone has, used my card to register somewhere maybe in Obuasi and is perpetrating a crime, I mean, it will be traced back to me. You know, I've never been to Obuasi. So there's a real challenge that the NIA has to work on it ASAP.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways.
Right. Yeah, we're glad that you're able to make it in time.